we mentioned this earlier, but let me go back to the question of why are we talking about this at all? Because is it fair to call out something like a vocal pattern? Because this is something that happens especially to women. I say this as a speech coach myself, where we talk about this stuff all the time, where it's like, how come when you're talking, your voice does go an octave higher, it seems? How come whenever you're speaking, how come the ends of your sentences end on an upswing like you're asking a question? And part of me says that, and then part of me thinks, who cares? Like, why am I picking on this stuff? Because I want them to sound a certain way. But if that way is not who they are, maybe it seems like we're just attacking them over nothing.
Right, and that's why I addressed it at the beginning. It's not me, harboring some sort of misogyny that I'm going to throw out at other women. If Katie Britt did not have access to power, I would not be speaking about it. I didn't. I never said anything about it until I heard Kelly Johnson speak, and I felt like it was something that needed to be said. I watched 19 Kids and Counting way before there were 19 kids. I watched it from the beginning, and it wasn't abnormal for me. Hearing Michelle was being in Sunday school. Hearing Michelle was birthday parties and graduations and every time I stepped inside a church. It wasn't it's not upsetting to me. It's nothing worth noting until you realize that these women are using it to further something that all of us don't want. It's speaking to Christian nationalists. It's speaking to certain people with that pattern that they all understand. And like I said, if Katie Britt wasn't a senator, I wouldn't be here. There would be no reason to speak on it.
So if you are her campaign manager, or you are, you have the chance to talk to these people about any of this, I mean, if Katie Britt has a different voice and delivers the same speech, it is still horrifying. But what advice do you give them as either a vocal coach? I mean, speaking specifically not on their policies, but do you tell them, if you had a chance, like, stop talking that way? Or what would you tell them otherwise?
I think she spoke exactly like they wanted her to speak. I mean, just like you pointed out, Tuberville said, no, we picked her for this reason. I think she played the part and we are horrified by it, but the folks it was meant for are not. So I don't know. I think they're embarrassed because it's gotten so much press, because she did deliver it in that overly dramatic way. If she hadn't have had the other dramatics around it, it would have played much better and people would have been like, what's up with her voice? But it played to who it was supposed to play to. And now they also have the effect of being able to say, look at those liberals, look at how they treat women who are, just trying to talk about policy.
And before I just to wrap this up, um, is there any final thoughts on the women we have talked about, the men who like make use of that or take advantage of that somehow? Any final thoughts there?
I really hope that people understand that, like we've talked about, it's not an attack on the way a woman sounds, but it's this march toward Christian nationalism. And if your listeners haven't, picked up Project 2025, if they don't understand that everything from school vouchers to abortion bans to book bans to anti-LGBTQ to tax policies are all related, I hope that they would start paying attention and look at Project 2025. This is stuff they've already put into place, but now we have a blueprint saying this is what we're going to do. Talk about the fact that even if you are a religious person, you understand that the separation of church and state is there for a reason. We are on this march towards Christian nationalism, and it scares the crap out of me because, friends, I was raised in it. I know what they plan. And my final thought is to be aware and to be paying attention to what's going on around you as far as Christian nationalism is concerned.
And vote for down ballot races as
Yes.
well. There is a question here that is an interesting one. Do Fundie men not take women with deeper voices more seriously? Or is it the opposite where they would respect more masculine qualities?
I can't speak for, all fundamentalist men, but most of their women, sounded, like Katie. They used that voice. Um, so I don't know. I know that they like submission. Now what they like in private, that's another whole show with all the
That
sexual
is another
repression.
question I did not get to that I purposely elided, which is this what they talk like in other places as well?
Right, exactly. There's so much repression that goes on within this society that it creates people like, frankly, Josh Duggar. It creates this system where people are just so repressed that they do awful and terrible things. And so I can't say for sure, but I suspect this has, something to do with the other.
um, there is one more question. I'll try to rephrase this, but are Christian men aware of this issue? And is there have you ever heard of any push by Christian men to say, we're pushing them in that direction to talk like that, to be submissive like that? Maybe there's some responsibility on us to be cognizant of that problem and to try to step away from that somehow. I don't think they're about to stop the patriarchy in evangelical churches, but I mean, even something as small as the way the cadence and the voice is, if men are doing something to perpetuate that, are they aware of it? And are they possibly doing anything to make sure that women don't have to put on an act when
Of
they are
course.
talking?
Yeah, of course they're aware of it. I mean, the patriarchy is strong in here. Women aren't allowed to hold positions of power. Like they can never preach from a Southern Baptist, pulpit. We are to be submissive and to be, not quite full citizens. We have no rights to our own body. They don't believe that marital rape is a thing. So, of course, this all goes back to patriarchy. It wasn't women who just decided, hey, let's talk like this. Maybe something will happen. No, they realize that they're treated differently if they come across as this meek, mild, submissive woman who will obey.
I don't know the answer to this, but I'm going to raise the question anyway. When there are books in the Christian market written by these conservative Christian mothers and the audiobook is being read, would they use this voice? Or who? I mean, if it's the author saying it, maybe that's one thing, but if it's a hired gun who is there to deliver it, would they deliver? If Katie Britt wrote a memoir and someone was delivering the audiobook version of it, what voice would they use?
Well, first I have to tell you, I would never listen to an audiobook from a fundamentalist Christian woman, but I would guarantee you it would be delivered in a soft, sweet, submissive sounding voice.
For several hours on end. Jess, thank you so much for your time with me here. Just to let everyone know, Jess runs an organization called Blue Missouri. You can support that organization by going to bluemissouri.org. Jess, what else are you up to and where can people find you?
Well, I'm actually going to be in DC in a couple weeks at the Summit for Religious Freedom. So I'm really excited about that because we're going to be talking about issues like this, right? And then I speak all over the country to Democratic clubs, that sort of thing. They can reach out to me on, Twitter or Facebook. I have my email address there. But just trying to get people to run in these races that are underfunded and where we don't normally have candidates. So that's my mission.
Well, thank you for doing that because it is so important. It comes up all the time here how much your life is more affected by the people in elected office, down ballot,
Yep.
local, city councils, school boards, far more in a lot of cases than a senator or even the president at times. So, what you're doing, I really respect it. I appreciate it. Thank you for talking to us about this issue.
Thank you, friend. See you soon.
See you soon.